A revolution in crafting has happened today, and it came out because Mojang thought,
could we take crafting to the next level? After months of brainstorming, we had the best idea ever. Something bigger, better, and craftier than ever before. What if you could craft your own mine?
The answer is CRAFTMINE, effectively an entire game they built within the game with hundreds of upgrades that include the double jump, a 3x3 crafting table in your inventory, and even floating igloos. But the big questions around what the point of this is, what you can do with it, and even will this be available on Bedrock like it was last year are the ones I want to answer with today's video. And so hello, I'm ABXToyCat. Let's go through Mojang's newest April Fools because it might just be their best one yet. For lots of companies, April Fools is something they do every year, but it's just a small social media post or a little funny video. But Minecraft takes it to the next level with playable versions of their game. But interestingly enough, this morning it looked like we wouldn't be getting one because at around 10 AM the Minecraft website updated to have this silly little mob combiner or mob cloner that you could have, and it was a very silly thing that you could play with, but that was exclusively all we saw. I mean, I saw this creeper milk on Reddit, and weirdly enough, that actually turns out to be a real product, implying that creepers have nipples, but otherwise it looked like this was going to be a dud of a year for Minecraft. But then as a surprise at 5:30 PM in the UK, much later than the usual cutoff for April Fools, Minecraft released Java Edition 25W14 CRAFTMINE.
Because it's Minecraft! I mean, CRAFTMINE!
This is an interesting April Fool's joke because unlike most of the previous ones where they've made some joke about how this is the new tech update or Minecraft 2.0, this is clearly intended as a funny little goofy update where of course you can mix and match ingredients to make your whole brand new dimensions. They give some really fun examples like this one with a bunch of villagers and a goat horn, or indeed all sorts of weird custom terrain with lightning everywhere, but the idea is meant to be that you find entirely new worlds and then you get new rewards to unlock new features, to go into new worlds, to get more features, and so on and so forth. In other words, Minecraft as a roguelite. And now we have to answer the big question that you might be having, which is, that sounds awesome, an entire Minecraft update just for April Fools. What have we got on the Bedrock version of the game? And the answer is... okay, good thing I'm a Java player now, I guess. Side note, but I love how many people were caught off guard by that one. I've been mentioning for years now that March 31st is a much better time to trick people for April Fools, but literally I did it at like 11:15 PM, and people are like, you know what, it's 45 minutes before April the 1st, that means this has to be serious. He had a change of heart, and I just, I love it. If you want to go read some fun comments, yesterday's video was a good one. But anyway, with that said, let's talk about this April Fools, the one from Mojang. And indeed, I think the idea of calling this April Fools isn't really accurate. I mean, beyond the idea that it's not a real snapshot, because the next snapshot won't be continuing on from this one. Instead, this is a weird fork that exists just for the sake of having fun today. But having fun today is what you can do in CRAFTMINE, and let me tell you, as soon as you load up the menu screen, you can see the love and effort that's gone into this alone. It's kind of reminiscent of the Matrix, except it's the Mine Tricks, I guess. Anyway, once you load up a brand new world, you'll immediately be spawned in this weird world with a small stone platform, and this, what is known as the, and I know this is the serious title, the Minecrafter. It is the thing that you can use to generate custom mines. That doesn't sound like it makes any sense at first, especially when you open it and you see all of these weird mine effects in your inventory, but simply put, you are loading into a brand new universe, and that universe is something you can change with these effects. So in theory, if I add a sheep to it, it will be a world that will specifically always have sheep inside of it. And at the time I didn't know this, so I just loaded up the world and kind of hoped for the best, and here's what happened to me. I loaded into a brand new world where there was a weird platform made out of new blocks from the Garden Awakens update, and indeed this crafter, because otherwise I wasn't able to craft anything. Your 2x2 crafting grid is locked by default, and the only way you can craft things is to bring it back to this, which I just think is a very goofy mechanic. And also you'll notice when you hover over any item, it has a value. The sugarcane's value is higher than that of sticks, and every single item in Minecraft has one of these, with the highest being reserved for rare, unique items and diamonds. So just keep in mind that you can craft from the get-go, but it's painful, and there isn't really a whole lot of value. Instead, what you're meant to do is gather whatever items you can, and then go to this weird exit orb. I don't know what you want to call this, but we'll just call it the magic return home button, and after 10 seconds, it will take you back to your home, and all of those values will be totaled up and given to you as experience. And so after my first mine, I ended with 8 levels, which I could then use to get myself some new upgrades, which would help me get get more levels in my next mine, and so on and so forth. This basic mechanic kind of persists in that you go into a next mine and then you can choose to customize the one after that, hopefully getting yourself more experience so you can get more customization, so you can get more experience. But there is also more game mechanic than that, because there's this fun door in the Matrix room, as we'll call it here, and the shimmering door says it yearns for a key.
As a child, I yearned for the mine.
But the only way to get to those special keys is to go to special levels. So this one right here is one I started recording and had to share with you because it calls itself Kuiper Igloo. And I just had to be thinking, wait, the igloo is floating in space? This sounds incredible. What the heck's going on here? And it gives you no instruction. There's no clear ending to go to. Instead, it's just an igloo floating in the void. How are you meant to turn that into anything? And then I realized, wait a minute, there is no way this isn't a reference to Sky Glue, right? But anyway, the fun thing about this is if you can work your way across the sea of nothingness, basically, using resources obtained from your igloo, you will eventually find an exit, and if you can solve these levels that don't give you an easy way out, then you will get yourself one of these shimmering keys. Using them on doors will give you these really weird, this interface I can't understand. I'm sure it must mean something, and I'm sure there's some way to work this out, but it will help you unlock new doors, and this is the fun kind of end game mechanic that you're meant to be working towards, and at time of recording, no one knows what is at the end. I did manage to get a second key from this, and I did this by doing one of these boss fight levels. Fun fact, you can cheese them by going into peaceful and back out of it. I learned that because I was just frustrated. But what is interesting is I did get my second key, which allowed me to unlock a whole brand new room, and so where this goes is something I don't personally know after 3 hours of gameplay, and which at time of recording, the wider community also doesn't know. Indeed, there's lots of things where I think everyone's just jumping into this, playing it their own way, and so I have been personally working out my own strategy. At first it seems like, yeah, dirt is the genius thing, or slabs are the genius things, but towards the end of my playtime, I worked out mining diamonds is really smart. If you're in a cave world type where diamonds are easy to find under the water, you can get 1 whole XP, not 0 point something, 1 whole XP, which can be upgraded to even higher, meaning that by mining a few diamonds with a fortune pickaxe, I managed to finish this weird underwater level with a literal 113 levels of XP. There are all sorts of strategies that will be worked out for the best XP. There are all sorts of fun things that can be done, and there's all sorts of modifiers which will be discovered, because here is the fun thing, right? At time of recording, even with hours of playtime into this, from myself and from the wider community, there are things we don't know, like where do these shimmering doors lead? We do not know the answer. How many are there? Is there a point, or do they go on forever? What are all of these hidden dimensions? I mean, I found the Kuiper Igloo, and I've got a lot of these boss waves, but there's presumably more that we haven't seen. On the Minecraft wiki, you can see that there is an angry ghast, which is funny, the opposite of a happy ghast, but there is a boss version of the ghast. I've not seen that anywhere, for example, in the actual game, just on the Minecraft wiki. So there's lots of these fun unknowns, and that's where I want to kind of take this video to mention the fact that this snapshot is so big that we didn't just discover it in the first half an hour and go, oh, that's cool, like you might with a regular snapshot. This snapshot is so deep and complex that there are probably things we'll be discovering over the next couple of days, and I think that's really cool. I think it's even possible, if you consider the way that the snapshot from 2015 went, there was actually a secret Easter egg in that snapshot that revealed the combat update. It was found in the first day, to be fair, but given that the combat update was just starting its development with that April Fool's snapshot, maybe now that they're starting a new update for this April Fool's snapshot, it's possible there's something in there that would be an indication. Maybe you could argue the angry ghast being the opposite of the happy ghast is enough of an Easter egg, but still, we don't know everything inside of it, and maybe in the next couple of days we will, but I love that Mojang have this much depth and complexity, genuinely dozens of times more than in a regular old Minecraft snapshot, and I love to see it. So, as regards to the overall quality of this week's, or rather of this year's snapshot, if we're being honest, this is one of the best. They have done so many great things, and my only real points of improvement or criticism would be, it would be nice if there was a Bedrock version of this. I would love it if the Mojang team worked on a second Easter egg, but I can understand why that would be hard. But last year's Bedrock Easter egg, or last year's Bedrock April Fools, was actually done by Jigabov and presumably funded by Mojang. You could do something like that every year, and you could have a lot of fun with the idea of 2 Easter eggs, one which the Bedrock community has and one the Java community has. I feel like you could do something with that, but personally, in the meantime, I'm perfectly happy playing Jar Edition, at least for one day a year, so that I can play around with the latest and greatest in goofy Minecraft stuff, because I love the amount of depth that can go into what is basically a passion project, and it's a reminder that even though some people like to say the soul in Mojang is dead and the employees have no passion or no interest and they're all lazy, the truth is they did this with no expectation they could get away with not doing it, and they made something that's incredible with an incredible trailer to go with it, which you've seen a few segments of in this video. I am very happy, I am very pleased, and honestly, I am very, very amazed by just how much depth can be added in a joke Minecraft snapshot. And yeah, this has got me excited to see what they do in the future, because there's been some really, really interesting April Fool's jokes, and I'm curious if we'll see more benefit from this as they're going less for April Fool's Day joke and more just here's a fun snapshot coming out of nowhere, because honestly, we do see so many fun ideas that make their way exclusively into these April Fool's Day snapshots. You know, obviously we had stuff like the flotato or the grappling hook from last time. These are great ideas Mojang have left on the table for a year. We've actually started implementing them into Toycat's Toolkit, by the way, but this year we see stuff like double jump. It's honestly, as I'm making this video, I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, it's great. I'm looking forward to playing some CRAFTMINE soon, because I just love the idea of like double jumping my way around and getting super, super fast. The speed bridging is so much fun. There's so many little things to discover, all of which are in there partially as a joke, but actually are really, really fun to play with, and so I'm looking forward to doing more of that. I want to do it right away, but I'll save it for the stream tomorrow. For now though, hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and I think I meant to say goodbye, but goodbye, I've been IBX Toycat, and I hope you have a great night, because I'll see you for the stream tomorrow, which won't be super flat hardcore, because obviously we're playing a bunch of April Fools, and then the Minecraft movie and the Minecraft live event are later this week, one of the crazy busy weeks for Minecraft in a very fun way, and yeah, I hope that you're having a good Minecraft live week, and if you are, then have a even better one, and rate this video 5 stars. Goodbye.